I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about two very powerful, efficient tools located in UltraStaff Edge. If you look at the left side navigation bar under Tools, you'll see that there's something called Favorites and Pinned. Well, let's start with what these are. They're basically shortcuts to other areas of the system. One, Favorites, being way more powerful than the other. But let's start with Pinned, and we'll explain that. We'll go through Favorites, and then we'll show you how to add to each of those items. So if I click Pinned, I'm going to get a flyout window from the right that shows me a multitude of tabs. Under each of those tabs would be the records coinciding. So my candidate is going to show my 3 candidates that I selected to pin. It's going to show me my clients. There's 2 that I selected. Any of my contacts, contract jobs, contract activities, direct hire jobs, and direct hire activities. From these screens, tabs rather, you can just click on the name or the number of what you're looking for, and it's going to bring you directly to that screen. So if I go to a candidate and I click on Susan King's number, it's going to bring me right to Susan King's record. If I go back to Pinned and I click on Susan King's email address, it's going to create an email for me, and I could go in here and I could add my verbiage, I could type my subject, and I could send an email directly from here. So that's pretty much what Pinned is. It's a quick shortcut list of all the things you're presently working on. Favorites is a little different. So let's go to our Favorites menu. If I click Favorites, I get that same flyout window, but from here, I actually have to choose which favorite list I'd like to view. I could have multiple favorite lists, literally as many as I want. So let's use my BV training list for an example. If I wanted to create a new list, I would click on Actions and just go to New List. So now that I opened my favorite list, it's going to show me what the list is. How is it sorted? So I have it sorted by the added date. And then it's going to give me a list of everything that's in that favorites. If there's more under here, I click Show More, and it'll also drop that down to show those other items. So from here, say I wanted to email all these candidates in my list. I go to Actions, I go to Email Candidates, and it's going to open up that same email window that we saw from the Pinned, but it's going to send to all the candidates that are in there, all in one shot. And each candidate gets a separate email. So nobody will see that Susan King's email address was in there or anything. So those are the differences that you could do with Favorites over Pinned. Pinned, I could email one individual. Favorites, I could email all individuals. So I could also do the same thing with my contacts, and I could also do the same thing with texting. So say I wanted to text my candidates, as long as my candidates have a cell phone number and a carrier, I can send a text. So the only one that has in there is record ID 293958, which we could go up here and see is me, 293958. So I could type this up in a text, I could click send, and it's going to text me. Most of your candidates will probably have that information, so you'll be able to do a lot more. The other thing that's extremely important about favorites is that I can share them. So say I created a favorites list for my team on a specific job that we're looking for, and I added about 15 candidates, and I added the contact, and I added the job, and I added any of the activities. I'd go down here, click Actions, click Share List, and I could go through the list and find all the people on my team, and I could choose to share this list with them. I could either allow them to just view the list, or I can allow them to edit, which means add or remove people or items from that list. So with my list, if I scroll down, I see I shared it with Frank. I gave him the view ability, of course, because you have to be able to view it if you can edit it, but he also can add and remove people from that list. What that means is while we're working on that job order and Frank reaches out to, I don't know, let's say Susan King, Susan King's not interested in this job. What Frank can do is, boom, Susan's off. Nobody's going to bother Susan again. She's done from this favorites list. So it's a really good, efficient way to make, obviously, us look very professional and make yourselves much more efficient in finding those candidates for that job. So how do I add someone to a favorite or a pinned list? It's really easy. Right now I'm on the candidate record. I'm going to click on Susan King. I'm going to select the list that I want her to be on, and I'm going to select it. So now remember, we just removed Susan from that record. So that's what it looks like when she's not on the list. But when we go back and add her to that list, you'll see that that now turns red, which shows that this candidate or this job or this client or this contact has been added to your favorites list. Pinned is pretty much the same thing. Click on the pin icon. Click on the pin, it'll fly out, it'll show you that they're pinned to your favorites, and you're done. So we hope that you'll use these tools to better make your day efficient and allow you to work a little smarter instead of harder.